Here's the uncomfortable truth about iPhone footage. When it looks bad on your computer, it didn't suddenly fall apart. It was always that way. What changed wasn't the footage, it was the honesty of the display showing it to you. Your phone screen never tells the full story. It shows a polished version, a flattering disguise designed to make you feel confident in the moment. Contrast is boosted, HDR works overtime, brightness adapts automatically, and exposure mistakes are quietly softened. On location, everything feels perfect, but that perfection never really existed. This is where most people misdiagnose the problem. They blame the edit, the export, the software, or the camera itself. In reality, the mistake happened much earlier, the moment they trusted that tiny glowing screen more than the data behind it. Apple's native camera app is built to reassure you, not discipline you. It protects feelings, not accuracy. Blackmagic removes that padding. It shows what the sensor actually records, and that honesty can feel uncomfortable. But discomfort is the price of truth. The solution isn't complex, just demanding. Stop trusting your eyes alone. Trust the histogram. Lock your brightness. Control exposure. Use display LUTs when shooting log, because the file never lies. The display often does. This is the difference between footage that looks good on set and footage that holds up in reality. Disclaimer: all brand names, products, or applications mentioned in this or any other Studio 56 narrative are referenced purely for educational and factual purposes. They are neither sponsored, endorsed, nor paid collaborations, positive or negative. Studio 56 takes this initiative to bring clarity to those who seek understanding without digging through misleading content, promotional noise, or formal classrooms just to learn the fundamentals. These narratives are intended to educate, guide, and offer practical insight to serious individuals who, at some point in their journey, may feel lost or unsupported. Our gratitude. Thank you for listening and watching. We invite you to authenticate whether the mono audio quality is clear and precise and whether this effort feels worthwhile, persuading through truth rather than embellishment. Humble greetings. Greetings today. You're with Studio 56, and we're talking about a hot topic, one that quietly affects almost everyone who shoots video, but is rarely spoken about honestly. What follows is presented exactly as it is, without edits, filters, or softening. As is, verbatim, unchanged. The hardcore truth: iPhone camera versus Blackmagic. Here's the truth nobody tells you about iPhone footage. If your footage looks bad on your computer, it didn't suddenly become bad. It was always that way. Your phone screen, your camera display, just didn't tell you the truth. It showed you a version, a disguise, carefully crafted, deliberately flattering, and deep down, it lied. This is where most people go wrong. They blame the software, the computer, the export settings, even the camera itself. But the problem didn't begin in post-production. It began the moment you trusted what you saw on that tiny glowing screen. The integrated iPhone camera app. Apple wants you to feel good about your purchase. So the preview is dressed up, artificial contrast, extra punch, smart HDR, JPEG-style processing, even when you think you're shooting serious video. Add automatic brightness and backlight compensation and suddenly bad exposure looks usable. That perfect shot you admired on location, it never existed. The native camera app is designed for confidence, not accuracy. It hides mistakes, it smooths reality, it protects your feelings. Blackmagic Camera App. Blackmagic does the opposite. It doesn't flatter you, it doesn't protect you, it doesn't pretend. It shows you what the sensor is actually recording, and that's why it feels uncomfortable at first. Because now the lies are gone. How do you stop being fooled? Before it happens, you abandon your eyes. You start with the histogram. Never trust how the image feels. Trust the data. The histogram doesn't care about mood, sunlight, or how good the shot looks outdoors. If the exposure mountain is pressed against the right wall, your highlights are gone. Permanently. Even if the screen says everything is fine, that screen is lying. Brightness, the silent killer. Your camera display brightness must be manual, 0, or one stop down. Auto brightness is not your friend. The moment you step into sunlight, it compensates and convinces you that an overexposed image is acceptable. It isn't. The native iPhone camera loves auto brightness. Blackmagic forces you to take responsibility. That difference alone changes everything. The biggest trap of all: log without a LUT. Log footage is supposed to look flat, dull, and unimpressive. That's the point. But if you shoot log without a display LUT, you are judging exposure on an image that does not represent reality. A display LUT lets you see correctly while still recording flat, high-quality data underneath. No LUT means false confidence, and false confidence ruins footage. Blackmagic understands this. Most people don't. So who is really lying to you? The answer is uncomfortable. The camera LCD, especially the one tuned by manufacturers to sell phones, not teach craft, sharpened, saturated, contrast boosted. That glowing rectangle in your hand, it's a salesman, not a scientist. Later, when you open the file on your computer, reality hits. QuickTime, Windows Media Player. They don't beautify. They don't protect you. They just show the file as it is, raw, uncorrected, unforgiving. HDR clips on SDR displays. Log looks gray and strange. No gamma tricks. No safety nets. This is the truth, and truth hurts. There's also a technical reason the shock feels so brutal. Camera previews and computer displays do not share the same gamma curves. Macs, in particular, interpret brightness differently. Until footage is properly tagged or corrected, it will look washed out or overexposed. Nothing broke. Nothing went wrong. You are just seeing the file honestly for the first time. Displays don't show reality. They are disguises. And that disguise runs deep. So remember this. Control exposure. Use histograms. Lock brightness. Monitor with LUTs. That's how professionals avoid saying bloody hell in post.
What? What? Manager of that.
My name Dede. I'm here.
My name Thai.เป็นทิปพิซซ่าเจมโอเค Drummer ไปเลยปัด